Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is an absolutely beautiful day to sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and dive deep into the endless, twisted drama of our favorite gated community. We have so much to unpack today, and I am so excited to share my thoughts with you all. I have a feeling that something huge is being hidden right beneath the surface of these recent family interactions. When we look at the latest conversation between Vernon, Anita, and Dani, there is a thick, undeniable layer of tension that just does not make sense on a surface level. I am starting to wonder if the parents already subconsciously know the darkest secret their daughter is carrying. I will get into that explosive theory in just a minute, but first, we need to look at how this whole confrontation started and why the atmosphere in that room was so incredibly heavy. If you ask me, the scene at the estate started off so beautifully before descending into absolute psychological chaos. We have Vernon and Anita sitting together trying to plan a lovely birthday party for Naomi. In my opinion, this should have been a simple, joyous occasion for the family to come together and celebrate, but instead, they are deeply worried. They feel that Naomi might be completely burnt out from all the constant chaos and, more importantly, from spending so much of her time and energy helping Bill lately. I think that it is incredibly telling how Bill's shadow just looms over this family, completely suffocating them, even when they are just trying to plan a simple birthday gathering. Vernon, being the sharp, analytical patriarch that he is, immediately starts questioning why Bill would want his daughter helping out at the big law office in the first place. Vernon theorizes that Bill has a massive ulterior motive, that he secretly wants Naomi to fall in love with the high stakes legal world and get permanently trapped in his corporate orbit. Anita, on the other hand, strongly doubts that will happen. She does not think Naomi will be swayed so easily by the glitz and glamour of the firm. They start debating whether Naomi could actually make a bigger impact working there, but I feel that the real issue isn't the job itself. The real issue is Bill's suffocating influence over everyone they love, and I think that Bill is playing a massive game of chess, using Naomi as a pawn to keep his hooks deeply embedded in the family. And guys, just as Vernon and Anita are discussing how Bill has way too much influence over their lives, who walks through the door? Dani. She walks in and gives them kisses, completely oblivious to the heavy, suspicious conversation she just interrupted. I feel that this timing is absolute cinematic perfection. It is as if the universe is proving Vernon and Anita's point right in front of their eyes. It sets the stage for what is arguably one of the most intense parental interrogations we have seen in a long time. Before the real interrogation begins, they establish that Naomi has agreed to spend her birthday with them, but with a massive, frustrating catch. She is going to visit Bill first. I think that this detail alone speaks volumes about where everyone's priorities are right now. Bill always comes first, and the family is sick of it. They also touch upon the anniversary of the kidnapping, which adds this heavy, dark, traumatic atmosphere to the room. In my opinion, the mention of the kidnapping anniversary is a subtle reminder to the audience that this family has survived intense trauma, and they are fiercely protective of each other because of it. They know what it means to almost lose someone, and they are terrified of losing Dani to Bill's toxic vortex. Then the focus shifts entirely to Dani. And this is where the tension absolutely skyrockets. Vernon and Anita look at their daughter and drop a devastating truth bomb. They tell her that the last time they saw her this close to Bill, the two of them were actually married. I think that this line is one of the most powerful things said in the entire episode. It is a direct, unfiltered observation from two parents who are terrified of watching their child walk back into a burning building. They are deeply worried. And honestly, I feel that they have every right to be. They can see the invisible strings Bill has attached to Dani, even if she refuses to acknowledge them herself. How does Dani respond to this genuine parental concern? She lies. She looks her parents dead in the eye and claims that she and Bill just have a mature relationship now. I could be wrong, but I feel that Dani is trying to convince herself way more than she is trying to convince her parents. When you are hiding a secret as massive as a passionate elevator hookup during a tornado, your defensive walls go up and you start spouting these rehearsed clinical phrases like mature relationship. In my opinion, it is a pathetic attempt to mask the raw, messy reality of her lingering feelings and the immense guilt she is carrying around every single day. Anita, bless her heart, tries to handle this with maternal grace. She says she is glad they can be mature, but she immediately follows it up with a stern warning. She acknowledges that being in such close proximity to an ex can sometimes cause old feelings to unexpectedly resurface. I think that Anita's maternal intuition is screaming at her right now. She might not know the exact details of what happened in that elevator, but I feel that she can sense the gravitational pull Bill still has on Dani. Mothers always know when their children are hiding something, and Anita is no exception. This is where Dani completely loses the plot, if you ask me. Instead of just taking the advice and changing the subject, she starts overcompensating in the worst way possible. She immediately pivots and starts talking about Andre. She lies again, saying how incredibly lucky she is to have Andre in her life and how solid their marriage is. And then, in the very next breath, she starts complaining bitterly about Haley cheating on Bill. Guys, this is a classic psychological tell. Why is she so hyper-focused on Haley's alleged infidelity? Why does she care so much about who Bill's current wife is sleeping with? Here is my first personal theory. I think that Dani is projecting her own immense guilt onto Haley. Dani is the one who cheated on Andre with Bill in that elevator. The guilt of that betrayal is eating her alive from the inside out. So to cope with her own self-hatred, she has to paint Haley as the ultimate villain. If Haley is a cheater, then somehow Dani's own indiscretions feel less severe in her twisted logic. I feel that Dani is using Haley's unproven affair as a smokescreen to justify her constant need to be near Bill and protect him. It is a classic deflection tactic, and it is honestly hard to watch her spiral like this. But Vernon is not buying a single word of it. He immediately steps in and shuts down her rambling. He points out that there is absolutely zero concrete proof of Haley cheating, and then he asks the $1,000,000 question, what does that have to do with you? I feel that Vernon is acting like a seasoned prosecutor here, and Dani is the flustered witness crumbling on the stand under cross-examination. Vernon sees right through the smokescreen. He knows that whether Haley is cheating or not, it should not matter to Dani unless Dani is still deeply romantically invested in Bill's life and marriage. Dani, desperately trying to backpedal out of the corner she painted herself into, tries to diminish Bill's importance by casually calling him an old friend. I think that this is the exact moment Anita truly loses her patience. She hits Dani with a brutal, undeniable reality check, reminding her he wasn't very kind when he did that to you, was he? Anita refuses to let Dani rewrite history to suit her current narrative. Bill destroyed Dani in the past. He shattered her heart and broke their family apart. Anita then calls Bill what he truly is, Dani's Achilles heel. In my opinion, this is the most accurate description of their dynamic we have ever heard on this show. Bill is Dani's ultimate weakness, the one thing that can bring her entire carefully constructed life crashing down in an instant. This brings me to another possibility, and it is a bit of a controversial opinion. I think that Dani actually secretly wants her parents to catch her in her lies. I could be wrong, but I feel that the burden of keeping this massive secret from Andre, combined with the sheer exhaustion of constantly fighting her attraction to Bill, is just too much for her to bear anymore. By being so obvious, by constantly bringing up Bill, getting overly defensive, and projecting her cheating guilt onto Haley, she is subconsciously begging Vernon and Anita to intervene. She wants them to stop her from blowing up her life because she knows deep down she cannot stop herself. She is a moth flying directly into a flame, praying someone swats her away before her wings catch fire. By the end of the scene, Dani is just rambling uncontrollably. She is talking endlessly about how Andre is so good for her, how supportive he is, and how Bill is so bad for her, reciting it all like a script she memorized but doesn't actually believe a word of. Vernon and Anita sit there completely unconvinced by her performance. They look at their daughter, who is clearly spiraling out of control, and they give her one final stern warning: do not try to piece that man back together. I feel that this warning is going to echo in Dani's mind in the coming days. She is trying to fix Bill, trying to save him from Haley, but in the process, she is completely breaking herself and destroying the foundation of her marriage to Andre. The tension right now is at an absolute boiling point. Every single time Dani insists she is happy with Andre, the lie becomes heavier and more destructive. We, as the audience, all know about the elevator. We all know that Bill is actively flirting with disaster and trying to pull Dani back into his vortex, regardless of the consequences. If you ask me, this family is sitting on a massive powder keg and the fuse has already been lit. Vernon and Anita are doing absolutely everything in their power to build a firewall around their daughter to protect her from her own worst instincts, but I think that the fire is already inside the house. It is only a matter of time before the undeniable truth about the tornado hookup comes out, and when it finally does, the fallout is going to destroy absolutely everything in its path. Vernon will go to war to protect his daughter, Anita will be heartbroken that history is repeating itself, and Andre will be completely devastated by the ultimate betrayal. But until that inevitable explosion happens, we just have to sit back and watch Dani continue to dig this massive, inescapable hole for herself while her parents stand at the edge, begging her to drop the shovel. That's just how I see it. I could be wrong. What do you think? Let me know your theories down below.